really practice good, practice 1, practice 3, and practice 5. 2 and 3 were average, in my opinion. Told them, you guys only practice on odd days. I don't know if there's a union or not, but I said they got to get an even day in, which is Saturday, which should be a good one. So, happy with where we are after 5. We'll really find out where we are. We've had really, when I look at it, we've had 18 live snaps so far, but we'll get to go live on Saturday. We've done a great job keeping our guys safe and up off the ground. I think doing this much study, I don't know if I've ever gone 5 practices, only had 18 snaps alive. So we'll find out Saturday what we have. Questions?
What makes a average practice different than a fantastic practice?
Oh man, it's hard to say, Abby. I would say, details. The one thing I say, they've had 5 like effort and energy and attitude, outstanding every day, but just the details and the focus. I challenged them this morning in the team meeting, just the focus and details. I mean, you have to come out locked in. The intent's there, but if you don't have focus, it's just not as clean. And we had way too many unforced errors, illegal procedures. We changed some cadences up offensively and defense, so it makes it hard on everybody. But you got to focus, and that's one of them. That's easy to see, right? We all see that. You see that in the stands. But just the details, throughout practice. If that's not good, usually the other stuff's not good either. So, just being locked in every day, coming ready to play.
This was the 3rd padded practice today?
Today's number 5.
I mean, padded.
Yeah, today was the 3rd padded.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't do any live today. Obviously, we're out in shells, but yeah, today was 3rd padded. 2 spiders start off 3 pads, and then we'll go obviously full go on Saturday.
You mentioned not going through as many full live plays as you maybe have in the past at this point in the spring. Did the number of injuries that you guys took last year and maybe some of the injuries that you're still dealing with play a factor into doing that?
No, not at all. I mean, we're healthy. I mean, we've been going 1s, 2s, and 3s, so it's nice to have 3 groups on offense going. We haven't had to cut back to, matter of fact, last year at this time we were going some 2s and a halves. That has nothing to do with it, because sometimes I think you can get hurt more going thud because you're trying to keep guys off the ground. But I just want to do what we can, teach that thud, make sure it's good, and again, we'll go live. But usually we're pretty good on live days.
When you say find out on Saturday, what are you hoping to find out about this group?
Just I think you find out where you are, and then go from that scrimmage to the next scrimmage. You find out like what improvement we make. But to me, this sets the bar for where we are. Where are we? What do we still need to work on? Where's our strengths? Where our weaknesses are? That's what I'm. That's our job as coaches to find out where our strengths and weaknesses are. And I think we'll find out a lot about this 25 team this year.
Are there any positional groups right now maybe lacking behind that you'd like to see improve for Saturday?
Nathan, it's hard to say like lacking. I can't tell you we're lacking anywhere. To be honest with you, I see, I don't see a weak spot right now. To be honest with you, I mean there's a weak play, here and there, offensively and defensively, but there's not, like, oh gosh, what are we going to do at this spot? So I feel pretty good. Again, we haven't played anybody. We won't play anybody until September or August.
Are there any position groups that are standing out?
Oh boy, standing out. Again, I guess it's just like nothing's looked really bad. I'll tell you Saturday. I would have said yesterday or Thursday. Just the amount of offsides on the defense and the illegal procedures on offense. Those were the weakness. But like I can't tell you there's a strong or a weak one at this point. It's just too early to tell, in my opinion.
What do you think?
You've had corners with decent size in the past, some good length like Ben Ocker, Amari Mathis, Dane Jackson, guys like that. Do you feel like you have a lot of length at corner this year, like Shadarian Harrison? It's like tall, long arms.
I mean, Rashad Battle's not probably going to go this spring, but Rashad Battle's big. As you said, Drip is Shadarian, nicknamed Drip. He goes by Drip. Drip, Taman. Those we got long corners. And they can run. Rashawn Murray's been fun to watch out there. Looking forward to seeing him on Saturday. New guy. Lights are turning on in the stadium. So we're long at corner, and Sean Lee's not the longest guy in the world, but he's a competitor as well.
Sean had a couple takeaway stickers on his helmet. How's he making that?
Sean Lee, did you say?
Yeah, Sean Lee.
Yeah, he's a competitor now. I mean, he's a football player. We'll find out Saturday. gauge. I mean, you know, you have to have a magnifying glass to say that, but I think we've improved everywhere. And we'll find out where we lack. I think I'll have more answers for you, you know, on Tuesday, I guess, when we meet next after that scrimmage.
I think in the past you guys have had quarterbacks have had a brace on the plant leg. I don't think I noticed that. Will you do that on Saturday, or is it just not something this
It's a
year?
great question. I hate to do it on Saturday. You know, I'm doing a good job with this thing right here, keeping the guys away from them. There's a period, you know, just the quarterbacks scream when they get, you know, when I call a sack, but, you know, we had one near, you know, issue with it. I like it, they hate it, so they fight me on it, you know, until you have an issue, it's not an issue, right? But, you know, it's that plant leg, usually we have it on their plant leg, you know, Duggar would have it on his right, everybody else would have it on their left, so, you know.
Is it harder to
You
convince-
recommend, and
I'm sorry, is it harder to convince guys like Eli and Julian to wear it because of their
they wanna run,
ability?
they wanna be able to run, and, you know, I forget even if Eli wore it in the games last year, I don't think he did, right? So it'd be hard to tell him to, you know, practice all week with it and then put it on the game, but we'll see how it goes this Saturday, and then I just think it's a protective thing. The D-line, they hate them. We make them wear it in practice. They don't have to wear it in the game. O-line wears it in the game and practice. So, you know, those are expensive. It's you know, it's insurance. You know, it's protecting our guys.
With Ja'Kurian Turner being a freshman and only 4
Who,
running
I'm
backs.
sorry, Nate?
Turner, Ja'Kurian Turner,
Okay.
being a freshman, only 4 running backs in the room right now. What have you seen from him? What has his progression been like?
You know, Ja'Kurian's doing a nice job. I mean, you know, really all 4 tailbacks. You know, I'm you know, I'm impressed with all of them. But Ja'Kurian's done a nice job. You know, and again, he can go out and play receiver as well. But I think he's done a nice job in the backfield. He's got good vision. Make people miss, and he's mature. You know, that's it. We got an older guy back there too. So his maturity and it shows out there.
The you know, the lines on both sides is where you really, you know, you can see in the scrimmage. I mean, those guys finally get a chance to actually hit each other, push each other around. Because you have so many transfers on both sides, like 3 DNs, 3 offensive linemen. Are you even a little more interested this Saturday just to see what those guys can do?
I'm really interested. You know, the one thing I'll say about, you know, these thud and live practices, you know, those D linemen, those O linemen, it's live every play. Like there's no, like they're not getting tackled. You know, so they, you know, like for the D line, O line, you know, practice 1 in Spiders. I guess maybe he's not as. These last 3 days, they're physical days for the O line, D line. So we've seen a lot out of those guys. I'm happy with where they are, and then again, we'll see when the bullets start to fly on Saturday. But you know, I'm interested. You know, it's not just the new guys you're interested in looking at. It's those other guys that are developing and getting better. You know, whether it's a Terrence Enos and Jackson Brown. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching those guys as well. I mean, it's all the new guys, the old guys. You know, Isaiah Montgomery. I want to see those guys get better. You know, Ty Ray. Looking forward to seeing what he's going to do out there.
Pat, with the way things are today, with the portal and the constant movement, how do you balance giving guys the playbook who could potentially go away? How do you work with this?
Don't worry about it. You know, I'm not worried about someone leaving and stealing knowledge. You know, I hope nobody leaves. I mean, that's the way it is. And you know, if we're worried about that, we wouldn't practice, right? You know, not worried about, you know, guys taking something with them. Hopefully they learn, and hopefully we hold on to our guys. That's like, you know, do I worry about coaching them hard? No, we're going to coach them hard. We're going to scream at them. We're going to coach them up hard. We're going to love them. And, you know, we're not changing the way we coach. We're not changing the playbook. We're doing what we do.
For Kyle and Des, you coming off some All-American selections, what can each of them do to maybe level up and raise the bar for themselves?
You know, they both got cut-ups of the things that, you know, like a bad cut-up. I mean, we know all the highlights. They don't have to keep watching those bad plays, but they can look at all their physical and mentals on the year. They can go in there and watch, hey, physically, these are my problems. You know, whether it be a physical read or a physical block. And then mentally, you know, did they have a missed ID and protection? Did Kyle line up wrong? Did he, you know, blitz wrong? So they, you know, All-American or not, I mean, they can, you know, they can get a lot better than everybody can, and they've taken that approach this spring.
Anything final?